a major rival here in the Asia Pacific. Dave?
Duterte even once offered himself as a gift to brides in the Philippines. The optics of this visit, let alone the politics, Ivan, are just mind-boggling. Now, on the subject of who will pay for the deployment of the THAAD anti-missile defense system in South Korea, the United States will for now. That's according to National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster. President Trump last week said South Korea should pay for it. Let's go live to Seoul and bring in CNN's Alexandra Field for the very latest. What's been reaction there in South Korea to this about-face, this contradiction?
Yeah, well, there has been so much tension on the peninsula when it comes to the rising North Korean nuclear and missile threat. And then you had this weird tension kind of cropping up between South Korea and the U.S. when U.S. President Donald Trump took everyone here by surprise by saying that South Korea should actually foot the bill for this billion-dollar system. A little bit of background for our viewers here is the fact that the U.S. was strongly pushing for this system. It's their system. They designed it. They're the ones who are operating it. They're the ones who are deploying it. And they had even said that it was critical to get this thing operational
in South Korea to this about-face, this contradiction.
Then President Donald Trump says actually South Korea should pay the billion-dollar bill. South Korea says, wait, not so fast. There was an agreement in place that the U.S. would pay the billion dollars. Well, there has been so much tension on the peninsula when it comes to the system sits. They're saying that they have held up their end of the deal, providing that land. Over the weekend, you did have the National Security Advisor seemingly smoothing things over publicly on the Sunday shows, and also to the rising North Korean nuclear and missile threat. And then you had now say that yes, the U.S. will go ahead and pay the $1 billion for now. South Korean officials are saying it was explained to them that the president's comments were made in the broader context about conversations in the future about how defense expenses are shared. This weird tension kind of cropping up between South Korea and the U.S. because that was the rhetoric that we heard so often from Donald Trump when he was candidate Trump back on the campaign trail. He said the U.S. would have to reevaluate its defense spending. But this is a critical time on the peninsula. Tensions are high. So the U.S. is saying they are paying for THAAD, and they are trying to send assurances to the allies here that the alliance remains strong and that defense and security are top priorities. U.S. President Donald Trump took everyone here by surprise by saying that South Korea should actually
missile defense system. Alex, thanks. Meanwhile, the White House has fingers crossed that Republican leaders can shepherd a
bill for this billion-dollar system. A little bit of background for our viewers here is the fact that the U.S. was strongly pushing for
can be made that will lure the moderates to vote for the latest draft of a bill that members of the hard-right House Freedom Caucus have signed off on. President Trump offering comments on Face the Nation.
This system, it's their system. They designed it. They're the ones who are operating it. They're the ones who are
conditions. But perhaps he may have muddied the water even further.
Pre-existing conditions are in the bill, and I mandated. I said it has to be. They said
it, and they had even said that it was critical to get this operation
in South Korea to this
about existing conditions. Obamacare, you know why? It's dead.
In one of the fixes that was discussed.
Face this contradiction.
Then President Donald Trump says actually South Korea should pay the $1 billion bill. South Korea says, wait, not so fast. There was an agreement in place that the U.S. would pay the.
All right, that claim could undermine the draft bill the White House is currently pushing on Capitol Hill. The deal between moderate and conservative Republicans would require insurers to cover people with pre-existing conditions. But unlike the mandate under Obamacare, insurers could charge them much higher rates if they let
well, there has been so much tension on the peninsula when it comes to the system sits. They're saying that they have held up their end of the deal, providing that land. Over the weekend, you did have the National Security Advisor seemingly smoothing things over publicly on the Sunday shows to the rising North Korean nuclear and missile threat. And then you had now say that, yeah.
National Security Team Sebastian Gorka may be on his way out. Administration officials tell CNN the controversial deputy assistant to the president has been generating too much controversy.
Yes, the U.S. will go ahead and pay the $1 billion for now. South Korean
security editor for Breitbart, Gorka has been serving on the National Security Council. His expected departure follows the firing of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and the removal of
officials are saying it was explained to them that the president's comments were made in the broader context.
National Security Advisor K.T. McFarland also reportedly leaving for another post.
All right, could the president release his tax return soon? Speaking on CBS News Sunday, President Trump said he never told the Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin
conversations in the future about how defense expenses are shared. This weird tension.
Treasury Secretary, nope, there's no plan. He's not going to release them. In fact, when asked about timing, the president said this.
You first said that
kind of cropping up between South Korea and the U.S. when, because that was the rhetoric that we heard so often from
when do you think this might
Donald
happen?
Trump
Are
when
you
he was
asking them?
Could happen soon. I don't know. I mean, I think
Give me a sense.
candidate Trump back on the campaign trail. He said the U.S. would have to reevaluate its defense spending. But
It is pretty routine, and releasing the president's tax returns are increasingly important. The administration released the first outline of its tax plan last week, and while it lacked a lot of details,
critical time on the peninsula. Tensions are high, so the U.S. is saying they are paying for that.
Own personal taxes. For example, if the administration repeals the alternative minimum tax, which prevents the wealthiest Americans from paying no taxes.
And they are trying to send assurances to the allies here that the alliance is strong and that defense and security are
That was
top.
80% of the taxes he paid that year. Also, the new business tax rate would have saved Trump.
U.S. President Donald Trump took everyone here by surprise by saying that South Korea should actually.
Says it's pretty routine to release them. He's right. He's the first president in 40 years who has decided that he somehow is above the conventional practice of releasing.
But again, he says his taxes could go up under his tax reform bill. It's hard to. Meanwhile, the White House has fingers crossed on Republican leaders. We're talking about $300 million in savings based on that 1 year that we have seen. Time will tell where the story goes. Highly trained American troops now.
With the bill for this billion-dollar system, a little bit of background for our viewers here is the fact that the U.S. was strongly put.
About all this, we're live in the Middle East.
Vacation rentals? Search Home to Go Florida from $29. Texas from $45. Home to Go California from $34.
Lure the
New York
moderates
from
of the vote to be
$37. The largest vacation rental search engine worldwide.
Draft of a bill and members of the Freedom Caucus have signed off on.
If it was
President
sunny
Trump
out, we'd be
offering
inside.
Because it was just so hot.
It was nuts.
Now that we have the Sun Center, we're spending more time outdoors. Our friends actually think we spent a fortune on it.
We almost never use the patio. The Sunsetter is hands down the best decision we ever made. It gets us outside.
his comments on Face the Nation.
This system is their system. They designed
Prices started under $800, but when you call now,
it. They're the ones who are operating it. They're the ones who are.
$200 savings certificate, so you can get your Sunsetter for as little as $5.99.
The kids are loving it. It's nice to get outside and not be cooped up indoors all the time. Under the Sunsetter awning, it cuts the UV rays.
If it's hot or drizzly, we can still be outdoors.
The weather's always
Perhaps he may have muddied the water
It's
even
like a little
further.
mini vacation.
You just press that button.
Pre-existing conditions
As little shade as you want. It's like I'm controlling the sun.
You can't do that with a screened porch.
No.
It cools the inside of the house too, so we're saving money with the AC.
Call now for your free awning idea kit, and we'll
in
include
the
this
bill.
$200
And
savings
I
certificate.
mandated, I said it has to be.
Yours for as little as $599.
We did some research and we did
They
find out.
said-
Deploying it, and they had even said that it was critical to get this in operation.
The motor, the warranty, we got the wind sensor because sometimes
South Korea to this
Given the advance.
about
Existing conditions, Obamacare, you know why? It's dead.
in one of
The
the fixed
installation was easy.
The dealer did it.
Yeah, that's easy.
we've had this thing for 2 or 3 years now, and it still just looks like brand new.
We honestly feel that it was an incredible value.
We're saving money. We're getting
It's
out
gonna
the
be
roof.
one of the fixes that was
face this
Then
contradiction.
President Donald Trump says actually South Korea should pay the billion-dollar bill.
And $200 savings. Call Sunsetter now for your free awning idea kit, including local dealer info, plus this
South Korea says, wait, not so fast. There was an agreement in place that the U.S. would pay the.
$5.99. Call 1-800-460-5402.
All right, that claim could undermine the draft bill the White House is currently pushing on Capitol
Pain used to shut me down during pickup games. But with odor-free
Hill.
Blue
The
Emu
deal between
continuous
moderate
pain relief
conservative
spray,
Republicans
I can box
would
out any
require-
muscle or joint pain immediately. Blue Emu continuous pain relief spray. It works fast and you won't stink.
Closed captioning brought to you by InventHelp. Call
to cover people with pre-existing
1-800-890-1868.
conditions. But unlike the mandate under
George, what do I do with my idea for a new product? I tell them, call my friends at InventHelp.
Obamacare, insurers could charge them much higher rates if they let
Billion dollars.
Had top secret clearance and ran away to Syria to marry the ISIS terrorist she was assigned to investigate.
There has been so much tension on the peninsula when it comes to the system it sits.
Tonight, 8 Eastern on CNN.
At Bo Townsend Nissan, our friendly staff will help you find the right Nissan at the right price. Like the 2017 Nissan Rogue, only $199 a month for 36 months. At Bo Townsend Nissan, it's all about you.
They're saying that they have held up their end of the deal, providing that land. Over the weekend, you did have the National Security Advisor seemingly
Funeral home. A caring professional staff.
smoothing things over publicly on the Sunday shows to the rising.
The average cost for a funeral like this in the United States is over 4,000.
North Korean nuclear and missile threat, and then you had now say that, yeah.
$96.95. So would you pay thousands more for the same service?
Not in a million years.
Funerals and cremations can be expensive.
Security
but
team,
not at Newcomb.
Sebastian Gorka may be on his way out.
At Bo Townsend Nissan, our friendly staff will help you find the right Nissan at the right price. Like the 2017 Nissan Altima, $189 a month for 36 months. At Bo Townsend Nissan, it's all about you. Visit online at btnissan.com.
Needs of America. New episode Sundays at 10 on CNN.
Will go ahead and pay the $1 billion for now. South Korean
along Syria's central and northeastern border with Turkey. Gorka has been serving on the national security. Armored vehicles clearly flying American flags are being manned by mostly special ops forces. Expected departure follows the firing of former national security advisor Michael against U.S.-backed forces. The Pentagon will not say how many American soldiers are involved here. CNN's Jomana Karacha is monitoring the latest developments for us. She joins us live from Amman, Jordan. Good morning to you. Now, Turkey, of course, a key ally in the war on terror. And what does this mean?
Officials are saying it was explained to them that the president's comments were made.
We're going to have to wait and see. Of course, tensions they are rising. They have a lot of concern from
in the broader context.
President Erdogan of Turkey saying that his country is very unhappy seeing U.S. forces patrolling this border region alongside these Kurdish forces, saying that he's going to bring this issue up when he meets with President Trump later this month. What you essentially have here is U.S. forces creating a buffer zone along this border to try and stop an all-out conflict from breaking out between these two U.S. allies. You've got the Kurdish YPG militia on the one hand, and you've got Turkey on the other hand.
Speaking on CBS News Sunday, President Trump said he never told the Treasury
between these two last week when we saw Turkey carrying out airstrikes targeting the YPG. That is because Turkey considers this group, this key U.S. ally in the
about conversations in the future about how defense
links to another Kurdish group, that separatist group, the PKK, that Turkey has been battling.
Fences are shared. This weird tension.
And Turkey consider the PKK to be a terrorist group. They, of course, disagree when it comes to the YPG. So a very tense situation. We're hearing from Turkey saying that they are going to continue targeting the YPG. And as we mentioned, something that will be brought up in that meeting on May the 16th between President Trump and President Erdogan, presenting President Trump with a very delicate and very complicated foreign policy issue that he is going to have to tackle.
Yeah, of course, President Trump made that controversial congratulatory phone call to Recep Erdogan after that controversial election as well. Jomana, thanks so much.
All right, new details from the Pentagon on civilian casualties in the fight against ISIS. Officials now say at least 352 civilians have been killed in coalition airstrikes against ISIS in Iraq and Syria since the start.
You first said that
cropping up between South Korea and the U.S. when that was the
significant increase from last month's civilian casualty report that listed 229 deaths. More than 36 other reports of civilian deaths are being reviewed, including several last month in Mosul. Right, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos had a pretty good day on Friday. He's now closing in on a pretty important title. We're going to tell you exactly what that is on CNN Money Stream next.
Rhetoric that we've heard so long
from when do you think this might happen? You're asking
Could happen soon.
An umbrella can keep you dry when it starts to pour, but it's a struggle to get it closed and into the door. Then it drips and makes messes all over the floor. Well, not anymore. Introducing Betterbrella, the ingenious new umbrella with reverse open close technology.
Back on the campaign trail.
An easier way to get in from the rain. You'll always stay dry with no puddles inside. The secret? Betterbrella opens and closes differently than other umbrellas. Old umbrellas just get in the way.
Have to evaluate your defense spending, but
saves the day. Plus, look, close it and it forms a waterproof cone. All the wetness stays inside, not on your floor. Amazing. The secret is Betterbrella's smart redesign of the traditional umbrella. We turned it upside down and inside out, making it easier to use and much more
releasing the
practical. So
president's
now
tax
it's super
returns are
simple to
increasingly
get in
important.
and out of any door without getting wet. You'll be inside in a jiffy with Betterbrella. And never worry about the wind again, because Betterbrella is windproof. Strong wind, soaking rain, or heavy snow, Betterbrella keeps you dry wherever you go.
This umbrella makes my rainy days so much easier. Whether I'm walking the dog or grocery shopping, this umbrella works.
Standard umbrellas sell for
administration
more than
released the first
$40,
outline of
and
its
one
tax
that's
plan last
windproof is
week, and-
over $50. But today, you can get the all-new Betterbrella in your choice of black, red, or blue for just $29.99. Plus, call now and we'll instantly upgrade
tensions are high, so the U.S. is saying
the soft comfort grip molds perfectly to any hand and makes it easier to hold. Yours free. And we guarantee Betterbrella will be the last umbrella you'll ever own or your money back. But wait, call right now and we'll double the offer. That's right, get a second Betterbrella. Just
They are
for
taking their own
free.
personal
That's
taxes.
two Betterbrellas
For
for
example,
just
if the administration repeals the
$29.99.
alternative
Call
minimum tax,
now.
which prevents the
order your
wealthiest Americans from paying no taxes.
and they were trying to send insurances
842-6157 or order online at buybetterbrella.com.
to the allies here that the alliance is strong and that defense and security are
That was
the
80%
top.
of the taxes we paid that year. Also,
This disease
the
can
business
remain in your
tax rate
body
would
for
have saved
decades.
some
U.S. President Donald Trump took every
finally occur. Visit ClassAction.com.
everyone here by surprise by saying that South Korea should actually.
They will answer most of your medical and legal questions. $30 billion was set aside for mesothelioma victims, and in most cases, your claim is settled out of court without a
He's
jury
right.
trial.
He's the first president in 40 years
ClassAction.com.
who has
Information,
decided that
protection,
he somehow is
justice.
One of the most in-your-face protest songs ever made. Good for nothing. It was a great chant.
This was a war
we did not approve of.
He was an explosion.
But again, we were killing our own children. Every movement has to have a song. That's what music's meant for.
Soundtracks, songs that define history. Thursday at 10 on CNN.
When you're busy building the future, it's not often you have your eyes on the ground. But there it is, right below our feet. An ever-expanding state-of-the-art fiber-rich network designed to connect you to what matters most today and tomorrow.
His taxes could and
Which is why
could
we're
go
never
up
done
under
building
his
for the
tax
future.
reform bill.
Thanks.
That's who we are. Spectrum.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school.
Meanwhile, the White House and the Republican leaders were talking.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
About $300 million in savings based on that 1 year.
Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
CNN, the most trusted name in news.
Breaking overnight, one person has now died from injuries suffered in a shooting at a San Diego poolside birthday party. 7 others were wounded. Police say the alleged gunman, identified as Peter Sellis, opened fire on people at an apartment complex pool area. Appeared to be reloading his weapon when officers fatally shot him. Some of the shooting victims are in critical condition. Investigators are still trying to determine a motive.
American troops also
built for this billion-dollar system. A little bit of background.
Serious condition after he was shot in the head Sunday night. Police say the officer and his partner were responding to a domestic violence call when the suspect opened fire on them. The officers returned fire, killing the suspect. They say it doesn't appear the gunman was involved in the domestic dispute. Police are now searching for the woman who made the original complaint. People in 4 southern states battered by a string of deadly storms and now beginning the task of cleaning up. At least 13 people were killed, dozens more injured as storms tore through Texas, Missouri, Arkansas, and Mississippi.
Florida from $29, Texas from $45, home to go
Twisters and floods leaving behind a trail of destruction. Now that same system is heading north. Meteorologist Vedram Javahiri tracking the latest.
Good morning, Dave and Christine. Yes, the threat
Largest
here
vacation rental search engine
the Northeast for this
worldwide.
afternoon. The storm system, by around, say, lunchtime, will really begin to blossom out across portions of, say, western Pennsylvania, western New York. As we get into the evening hours, too, the severe threat at the highest here. About 80 million people in line for severe weather. So we're talking 1 in every 4 people in the country when you do the math and look at it that way. But places such as Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Washington, around Richmond, Raleigh as well, the severe weather threat there. Generally the highest for winds, and of course the storm system has
members of the Hard Right
caucus
never signed up.
More than 240 of them related to wind damage, but the one tornado that we know that was the most significant as far as width. How about this? 17 football fields in width at its widest point, according to the National Weather Service. Of course, several fatalities left behind from that storm system as well. But much cooler air coming in with this. Some wet weather expected across the upper Midwest as well over the next 24 hours. Temps in St. Louis only at 53. Washington into the 80s. New York City warm ahead of the storm, up to about 75 degrees, guys.
Gets
All right, John, thank you so much. Search, it appears Kelly Ripa has finally found a perfect...
This system is their system. They designed.
Prices started under $800. Revealing on Twitter Sunday that she will make an announcement during today's show. Ripa has been without a regular co-host since Michael Strahan left last May, a year ago now. Wow, for Good Morning America, after 4 years on Live beside her. Since then, she's had a revolving door of celebrity fill-ins, including CNN's.
But when you called out,
Find it. They're the ones who are operating it. They're the ones who are.
No match for Canadian hockey fans at last night's second-round Stanley Cup playoff game in Edmonton between the Oilers and Anaheim Ducks. When Canadian country music star Brett Keisel took the ice to sing the U.S. national anthem, and his mic cut out, listen to what happened. This is in Canada.
Awesome.
$5 savings certificate, so you can get yours on Saturday for as little as $5.
That, folks, is the awesome sound of over 18,000, mostly Canadian hockey fans. Canadian hockey fans joining in and belting out all the lyrics of the Star-Spangled Banner. Another reason. Playoff
the
hockey.
kids are loving it. It's nice to get outside and not be cooped.
That gave me a chill when I watched it last night.
In there somewhere. There's a North American Free Trade Agreement joke in there somewhere.
There absolutely is a lumber joke, but that is brilliant.
Lumber. Let's get a check on CNN Money Stream this morning. U.S. futures and Asian markets are higher. European markets are closed. Wall Street closed slightly lower Friday after a disappointing report on economic growth. Still, April was a solid month for stocks. All three indices gained about 1%. The Dow had its best weekly gain of the year. Corporate America has been on a roll. Earnings have been very strong this season, the best since 2011. Think of that. Excitement over tax reform and possible deregulation has kept the so-called Trump market strong. It's like the president's first 100 days. Make no mistake, President Trump is good for corporate America, good for profits. This week, more big tech names like Apple report and the April jobs report is released on Friday. A major strike on the horizon today. 21,000 AT&T wireless workers could walk off the job as early as this morning. Since February, the Communication Workers of America union has been negotiating their contract. The union is looking to stop AT&T from sending jobs overseas, among other demands. The company said in a statement it remains confident a deal will be reached. AT&T has agreed to purchase Time Warner, which owns CNN.
So we're saving money.
Move over, Bill Gates. You might lose the title of world's wealthiest person. The net worth of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos rose nearly $2 billion on Friday. The company reported strong earnings that sent the stock skyrocketing. He's now worth about $80 billion, just behind Spanish retail magnate Warren Buffett, and way above Dave Briggs and Christine Owens. way
I got to play golf Friday. That's why I thought it was a good win. Wow. $2 billion.
Maybe. That's what it has to be. For as little as $599.
Breaking overnight, negotiators reach a deal to keep the government funded through September anyway. The deal features some big wins for Democrats, and funding for the president's border wall is out.
Isn't that the job, by the way, to keep the bills,
yes.
pay the bills, keep
good
your
job,
lights on?
government.
Yeah, good job for doing your job.
We did some research, and we did find out.
Deploying it, and they had even said that it was
the authoritarian president of the Philippines to the White House. Why the White House
critical to get this operation.
Rodrigo Duterte even
We got the wind sensor because sometimes
South Korea to this.
Christine Romans
And I'm Dave Briggs. It is Monday, May 1st. It's 5 a.m. in the East and breaking overnight congressional
given the advance
about
conditions, Obamacare, you know why?
bill that, if approved, will fund the government through the end of September. Now, the deal includes several significant wins for Democrats. It would add billions for the Pentagon and border security, but nothing for President Trump's promised wall along the Mexican border. Democrats rejected border wall spending as premature since the president has not detailed plans for building the multi-billion-dollar.
The installation was easy.
Mexico will at some point.
Yeah, that's easy.
Also, the bill has no money for a deportation force or federal cuts to sanctuary cities. There's no funding cut for Planned Parenthood, and there's a
we honestly feel
increase
that
for
it
the
was
National
an incredible
Institutes of Health.
We're saving
Votes
money.
in the House and Senate are expected by the end of the week. No response to the agreement yet from the White House.
Face this contradiction.
President Donald Trump.
The administration and both parties on Capitol Hill to avoid a government shutdown.
The authoritarian strongman leader of the Philippines now has an invitation to the White House. There is growing pushback against President Trump's invitation to President Rodrigo Duterte. In less than a year in office, Duterte has been accused of major human rights abuses and once called President Obama a son of a whore.
Says actually South Korea should pay the $1 billion bill.
$200 savings. Call Senator now for your free awning idea kit, including mobile dealer info.
South Korea says, wait, not so fast. There was an agreement in place that the
China, saying America has lost. White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus says human rights do matter, but cooperating with Asian partners.
U.S. would pay the
$5.99.
Call 1-800-460-50.
This is a different level of a problem that we need cooperation among our partners in Southeast Asia. The issues facing us developing out of North Korea are so
that claim could undermine the draft bill the White House is currently pushing.
At some level, with as many partners in the area as we can get to make sure that we have our ducks in a row, so that if something does happen in North Korea, that we have everyone in line backing up a plan of action that may need to be put together.
Ivan Watson is monitoring the situation for us. Live. And Ivan, when you think about one of the most coveted invitations in the world, it is to be invited to the White House, the center of democracy and Western-style capitalism. And thinking of, the Philippine leader as basically a strategic partner in the North Korea situation, not something that is, top of mind. Republicans would require.
Yeah, it's debatable whether the Philippines really has any political or economic or military leverage when it comes to the North Korean conflict. One of the issues that these two leaders like to position themselves as strongmen, one of the things they discussed was Rodrigo Duterte's controversial and very deadly war on drugs, one that has claimed the lives by many estimates of more than 7,000 people.
Closed captioning brought to you by InventHelp.
The police are taking responsibility for the killings of at least 2,500 drug offending suspects, all, they claim, in self-defense. But on top of that, you have the fact that Duterte is essentially a self-confessed killer. Listen to him talk about his time as mayor of Davao City.
1-890-1868.
But unlike the mandate under
I was only 3 months mayor. In 1988, at least I did to protect
Obamacare insurers could charge them much higher rates if they let
Top secret clearance and ran away to Syria to marry the ISIS.
So how would it look to have a self-confessed killer in the White House?
This terrorist was assigned to investigate.
There has been so much
like the senator from
tension on the peninsula when it comes to the system that sits.
We're watching in real time as the American human rights bully pulpit disintegrates.
Townsend Nissan, our friendly staff will help you find the right Nissan at the right price.
Longtime allies. Philippines, the closest thing that the U.S. has ever had really to a colony. And Duterte was democratically elected. He enjoys a great deal of popular support in his country.
The 2017 Nissan Rogue, only $199 a month for 36 months.
Popularity among his own electorate.
Two very good points. The very complex history between the United States and the Philippines, close history, and also this is a democratically elected
Nissan, it's all about you.
They're saying that they have held up their end of the deal, providing that land over the.
For that, Ivan in Hong Kong for us this morning.
All right, to break down all these latest developments, let's bring in CNN politics reporter Eugene Scott and CNN contributor Selena Zito, who has a new interview with President Trump.
Weekend, you did have the National Security Advisor seemingly.
And Selena, we read your piece. It is fantastic. Insightful interview with President Trump. But let's talk about this latest development. It's inviting Rodrigo Duterte